A $500 million federal rescue package was ready to save Spirit Airlines, but it wasn't the government that pulled the plug. The airline was killed by a small group of Wall Street investors. Today, we're looking at the 3 specific factors that destroyed the carrier, how this shifts the entire travel industry, and the exact legal steps you need to take to get your ticket money back. On May 2, 2026, Spirit Airlines completely ceased operations. In a single night, every flight was grounded, leaving thousands of passengers stranded across the country. While the public often assumes major national carriers have the scale to survive any crisis, the financial reality was different. Spirit had been secretly bleeding billions of dollars long before its final day. 3 distinct systemic failures collided at the wrong moment in history to trigger this sudden liquidation. The first issue was the company's own business model. Ultra-low-cost carriers rely entirely on massive passenger volume and unbundled fees, which leaves absolutely zero margin for error. This chart shows the revenue gap. Spirit relies on base economy fares and add-ons. Traditional carriers use high-margin business class and corporate contracts for a financial cushion. Without it, rising post-pandemic operating costs, labor, and airport fees erased Spirit's razor-thin margins, triggering 2 bankruptcies. The airline was a fragile machine, built only for perfect economic weather. When outside forces shifted, its destruction became a mathematical certainty. The second blow came from an external catalyst, the outbreak of the 2026 Iran war and its immediate disruption of the global economy. When the Strait of Hormuz closed, global Brent crude prices surged to $120 a barrel. For the aviation industry, that meant the price of jet fuel instantly doubled. The scale of the shock was massive. Deutsche Bank forecasted a sudden $24 billion increase in collective airline fuel bills. For Spirit, this shock was fatal. Premium carriers raised ticket prices, but Spirit could not. Its customers were already at the absolute lowest payment threshold, leaving the airline with no room to increase fares. This geopolitical crisis stripped away the airline's final cash reserves, proving how a distant conflict can directly kill a domestic budget business. There was one final lifeline. The Trump administration proposed a $500 million bailout in exchange for taking a 90% stake. But the bailout required approval from senior bondholders, hedge funds like Citadel and Ares that held hundreds of millions of dollars in Spirit's debt. This flowchart shows their choice. Chapter 11 keeps the airline alive but forces creditors to take a loss. Chapter 7 liquidates the company to pay senior debt holders first. Bondholders rejected the bailout, realizing liquidation recouped more of their investment. The ruthless logic of financial markets protecting capital over corporate survival ultimately finished the airline. The disappearance of Spirit permanently raises the floor for all domestic airline tickets, effectively ending the competitive pressure known as the Spirit effect. This leaves thousands of consumers holding worthless tickets, vouchers, and loyalty points. If you are one of them, do not rely on the bankruptcy court for a refund. As a passenger, you are an unsecured creditor at the very back of the line. It could take years to see even pennies on the dollar. Your only guaranteed path to recovery is to contact your credit card issuer immediately and file a chargeback for services not rendered under the Fair Credit Billing Act. You need your original booking reference, the exact transaction amount, and proof of the shutdown. Be aware that most banks have a strict 120-day filing window. The sudden collapse of Spirit Airlines shows us that ultra-cheap travel was always a fragile illusion built on debt. If you found this breakdown helpful, please like the video and subscribe,